Today we're going to take a quick look at Teacher Time Machine. This is the artificial intelligence tool that we have purchased for all teachers in Chinook's Edge School Division. And so you all have an account for this paid by the district for you. And so you're going to need to log in. Now, some of us have had a few challenges getting logged in. I'm going to link in the description for this video a video from the company showing how to get logged in. The sign up with Google, sign in with Google thing has been a little bit intermittent, but there are some ways to get around this. So I'm going to go into the already have an account because I have an account, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. If you have not been able to log in yet, do the forgot password thing, and it'll email you a link to change your password, and then you'll be in. Okay, so when we come in to Teacher Time Machine, it looks very much like some of the other utilities that we've seen, whether you've tried Magic School or if you've tried Diffit or some of the other tools. Where this one differs is that it has the Alberta curriculum built right into it. So as you go through and you build some things using Teacher Time Machine, and every time I log on, I see more things that we can do. You do this knowing that your curriculum is embedded into this tool. So the one I have been so impressed with, and you'll see that it's still in the beta form. So we have access to it, but it's not finalized. There could be some glitches with it, but I was blown away by this. So for my demo today, I'm going to use the beta test designer to give you a quick demonstration as to some of what we can do. And I choose the test designer not only because I'm very excited about it, but because I know that exams and exam security and assessments is a really big deal for teachers. So let's get started here and let's see what we can do to design a test inside of Teacher Time Machine. So it starts off by helping me to prompt. That's the biggest word you hear around the AI circles is prompting, prompting, prompting. These tools come with some of the initial prompting already done. It's what makes them so easy. So I'm going to start in the curriculum jurisdiction and I'm going to choose Alberta. And for the sake of picking something kind of in the middle of the road, I'm going to choose grade 6. And I'm going to do a grade 6 science test. So there I've got the basics put in. Now I'm going to start blueprinting my test. So I want to blueprint a section. That means I'm going to come in here and it's going to give me the outcomes for grade 6 science because that's what I selected. So we're going to analyze forces and relate them to interactions. I can pick more outcomes than just that. So let's investigate energy resources as well. And then we can get into those specific cusps, the KUSP, that feed to those bigger outcomes. So I'm just going to grab a few at random here. This is just for the sake of a demonstration. So there, I've got 2 general outcomes and 4 specific outcomes that I want to test. Now, if I want to give my kids some instructions or anything like that, it's optional. You don't have to fill that in, but you can. Now it gets cool. I can choose what kind of question I want. So let's start the test off with some true-false questions. I want a depth of knowledge 1 for the first 3 questions. When I click the plus, it adds it over here on the side of the screen. Now I can't move this dialog box in the middle to give you a clear view, but we'll take a look in a minute. So now I'm going to choose some more. I want a few more true false. This time I want a depth of level 2, and I want 3 questions like that. So let's add that. It's saving it over here. And let's just do another set of true false. Let's go depth of knowledge 3, and I want 4 questions of that because that'll give me a total of 10 true false questions. So I'm going to add those and I'm going to save and close. So now it's got that part set up. We don't see the questions yet, but we will. But I want to do a little more blueprinting first. So now I can go in and I can choose those same outcomes, and I didn't pay good close attention because this is just a demo to what I had selected. So I'm just going to pick a few more things here to create a few more questions. Okay, so now let's do a fill in the blank question. How many terms do we want to be filled in the blank? Let's go with 2. Let's do depth of knowledge 1 blank. Let's add that. Let's choose fill in the blank, 2 terms, depth of knowledge 2. And if you're not clear about things, there are these little example buttons here that'll help you to be able to understand what it's asking you to do. And sometimes, as you can see, it's even going to link out to a separate resource. So if you're not clear what it is you're doing, you can you can click on some of those and it will help you out. So now let's see what we've got coming our way on the test. We've got this first part, analyzing those outcomes. Then we've got some fill in the blank here. We're going to do one more and then we're going to have it generate the test. So let's throw some solar system in here. Looks like I'm starting to have a bit of a everything kind of a test, kind of maybe a review for the end of the year. So now let's go with some multiple choice. Let's have a depth of knowledge 1, 4 questions. Let's add some more. Multiple choice, depth of knowledge 2, 4 questions. And let's go with our multiple choice, depth of knowledge 3, and let's do 4 questions there. And now we are going to see what this tool is going to generate for us. So I'm going to go over to AI test questions, and now I'm going to ask it to generate the questions. You can see by the logo that it is using the OpenAI chatbot to run in the background. So that would be ChatGPT that is powering this particular tool. We'll give it a couple minutes to generate our questions, and then we'll take a look at if we like them, which ones we want to use, which ones we don't want to use, and we will have a test generated in pretty short order. Okay, now we have our questions generated, so we can come through and we can take a look at the questions. So it shows me again what outcomes it's measuring. So it's a multiple choice, depth of knowledge 1, which of the following is a characteristic of a planet in our solar system? There's your choices, there's your answer. If I like it, I'm going to hit a check mark, meaning I accept that question. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read all the questions that it's just generated for me, and I'm going to decide which ones I want. Now, for the sake of the demonstration, I'm just going to click them all. So let's do that, and then we'll take a look at the test. Okay, now you'll notice I can get more questions. So if I want some more questions of the same type on these same topics, it will do that for me. We're not going to waste time here for you today doing that. You'll also note over here that it says math not displaying correctly, click here. I don't know that I have any questions in here that are mathematical in nature, but it's got the latex coding built into the backside of this. So if you've created a math test or a science test that involves some amount of formulas, computations, or calculations, if it doesn't look right on this screen here, you're going to just click that button, and I'm going to do it just for the sake of demo. And you see nothing's happening here because there isn't mathematics that needs to be adjusted, but it does have that factored in. And now I can come over to the My Questions area, and this is where I can do the final phases of control for my test. So the first thing I want to look at here is question grouping. So you can choose if it groups them by type or groups them by outcome. So it could put all of your multiple choice together and all of your matching together and all of your true false together. Or you might want to have it put all of the questions about planets together, regardless of what kind of question they are, and all of the questions about forces together. So you've got 2 different ways that you can generate the test. So I'm going to generate it by type, and I can do a double check on all my questions. If there's one that, you know what, I really don't want this one on this test, I'm going to just hit the delete, hit that little garbage can, question has been deleted. So here's the questions for my test. I can add it as a resource to the community library, yes or no. I'm going to go with no because I picked those like really random outcomes. So this isn't really a valid test on anything because I wasn't selecting outcomes with any kind of deliberate selection criteria. Now it tells me I got 23 questions and I can generate that test. So I click that and it gives me a moment to generate those questions. And then it drops a zip file into my downloads folder. From there, I'm going to just grab it, I'm going to unzip it, and I'm going to drag it into my Google Drive. So I'm going to do that, and I'll see you in Google Drive in just a second to look at our test. So the test file downloads as a .docx, which is technically a Word document, but we all know that Google Docs can handle that. So let's open the test here in Google Docs. I can rename it, I can edit it, all of those kinds of things now. It's got my teacher name up here, student name, and here are the questions. Of course, I have the answer key in Teacher Time Machine. And then at the end, complete each sentence below with the correct terms. So it's given the terms. There's the fill in the blank. And there's even a little bubble sheet and the answer key bubble sheet to accompany those questions. Now the fill in the blank ones, I don't see the answers on here. So let's just come over and take a look on here and see what we see. Okay, so there we go. So there's the answer key, biotic and abiotic. There's the answer, complex and cost. So you don't get those answers included with the end of the test here where we do see an answer key for the multiple choice and the true false, but you do have the answer keys back here. So that's a real quick overview of getting into Teacher Time Machine and creating something that's done quickly, done authentically, done with curricular alignment, done with excellent pedagogy. And now I will find this content in the My Resources area. I didn't give it a real great name, so I'm probably going to want to come in and make a quick change to the naming conventions and that kind of thing. So edit the title, so grade 6 demo test. And now I know for going forward what that was. The visibility is private. You saw me uncheck that thing so others don't see it, but you can see other things that I have made, I've published. So there's my creation zone, my resources. To get back to that screen where it had all those things I could choose from, that's the creation zone. We all have a full license, so upgrade isn't going to make any difference. We've already upgraded everybody. And you'll notice down here a little thing called time tokens. We all start with 2,500 time tokens. And I think each time we create something, it uses a token. If you run out of tokens, let me know. I have a hard time envisioning a circumstance where somebody would run out of tokens, but just wanted to say that out loud, that if you do run out of tokens, let me know. So loads of things in here for you to dive around in, have a look at this summer, but just realize I just created a grade 6 test in a matter of less than 10 minutes, and I could have been doing it while I was making supper. So in this one, I see a genuine time save and such a blessing to have a Canadian product. And actually, it's a product out of Alberta. Teacher Time Machine is actually located down in Lethbridge, and it is owned by teachers who have taught in Alberta. So the considerations of what we do in our classroom were at the forefront of their minds as they built this. Most technology built for education is built by coders who don't really have an understanding of what teachers do, except for the fact that they were all students at one time. That's not the way this was built. This was built the other way, with teachers first and the coders came after the ideas were all sussed out. So have some fun. Take a look at Teacher Time Machine. This has the potential to be a game changer for you next year. The number of hours of evening time that you might be able to claw back to focus on yourself and on your wellness and on those things that fill your bucket. This might be something that can really help you moving forward. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. Thanks so much for watching.